You picked up your phone before you finished reading this sentence. Maybe you didn't even notice. Maybe your hand just moved on its own, thumb already sliding, eyes already scanning. You weren't looking for anything in particular. Nothing was urgent. But something pulled you anyway. And that pull, that quiet, relentless itch, is not a flaw in your character. It is one of the oldest survival systems ever built. Your brain is not broken. It is doing exactly what it was designed to do. The problem is, it was designed for a world that no longer exists. Go back 70,000 years. Your ancestors woke up not knowing if they would eat, not knowing if something would eat them. Every new sound, every shift in the air could mean survival or death. So your brain built something extraordinary, a system that never stopped scanning, one that rewarded you, chemically, immediately, every time you noticed something new. Neuroscientist Jaak Panksepp called it the seeking system, one of 7 core emotional circuits hardwired into the mammalian brain. The drive to explore, to check, to look for what might be out there. It runs on dopamine, and it never fully turns off. Here is what no one tells you. Dopamine is not the pleasure chemical. That is a myth. Dopamine is the anticipation chemical. It spikes not when you find something good, but when you think you might be about to. The half second of not yet knowing. That is where dopamine lives. Your phone has cracked the code on producing that moment on demand, hundreds of times a day. Every time you unlock your screen, your seeking system fires. Something might be there. A message, a notification, something new. You don't know. And that not knowing is the hit. Behavioral psychologist B.F. Skinner showed this decades ago with what he called variable ratio reinforcement. He gave animals a lever that sometimes produced a reward and sometimes produced nothing. Randomly. The animals pressed that lever more obsessively than any other, more than levers that always worked, more than ones that never did. The uncertainty was the engine. Your phone is that lever. Every refresh is a pull. The randomness is not a bug. It is the entire mechanism. Your ancestors needed this. A brain that ignored new signals didn't survive long enough to pass on its genes. The ones who checked, who looked up at the sound, who couldn't relax until they knew what was out there, those brains made it. Their descendants built cities, and now sit in meetings, glancing at a glowing rectangle they checked 40 seconds ago. You are not weak. You are the product of 300,000 years of selection for exactly this. But there is a second layer, something your brain cares about even more than food or danger. Other people. Humans are the most socially dependent species on the planet, not in a soft sense, in a survival sense. For most of human history, being cast out from your group was a death sentence. No one survived alone on the savannah. The tribe was the technology. Belonging was not a preference. It was oxygen. Psychologist Matthew Lieberman at UCLA found that the brain's default mode network, the system that runs when you're not focused on a task, is almost entirely devoted to thinking about other people, what they think of you, where you stand. This is not vanity, it is ancient threat detection. A drop in social standing was as dangerous as a predator. Your brain treats both the same way. Now give that brain a device with a live feed of social information. Likes, reactions, who read your message, who didn't reply. Every signal feeds directly into the same monitoring system your ancestors used to track their place in a group of 30 people. Follower counts, hearts, view numbers. Your brain reads all of it like social cues around a fire. It cannot tell the difference between then and now. So, what do you do with this? First, stop blaming yourself. The pull is not weakness. It is ancient engineering dropped into a modern environment it was never meant for. Second, learn to notice the itch before you act on it. When your hand moves toward your phone without a thought, That is your seeking system running. You cannot suppress it, but you can recognize it. An old system firing in a new world. Third, point it somewhere else. Dopamine follows novelty. The same circuit fires when you go somewhere unfamiliar, learn something new, start something you've never tried. The seeking system doesn't care what you aim it at. It just wants to move toward the unknown. Your ancestors couldn't stop scanning the horizon. They just had a horizon worth scanning. Tonight, when your hand moves toward your phone before you've decided to check it, notice that pull. It is 300,000 years old. It kept your ancestors alive through ice ages and predators. It built every civilization you've ever read about. And right now, it just wants to know if anyone liked your post.